Mosier is knee-deep in a video that I'm showing him of a dog jerking off. Is that amazing?
That is awesome.
Isn't that fucking... Have you ever seen anything like it?
It's just...
I mean, you've seen dogs hump before, but like this dog... You could see it if you go to a website called redtube.com, and it's to give you a heads up. It's all porno videos, like a YouTube. But the exact address is redtube.com/6303, and it's called "Horny Dog Jerks Himself Off." So I was.
That's an excellent title,
isn't it? It really
Aptly
sums it up. I've never seen that before. When you click on it, if you've clicked on it by now, you've seen it. And if you can, if you're in a car, we'll describe it for you. Two dogs humping. One dog kind of
regular
style,
antics and shit.
very sexy. But then the other dog kind of pulls away from the other dog, who's doing the humping, and that dog lifts up on his back two paws, lifts down with his two fucking front dog arms, and appears to fucking jerk his big red lipstick.
It's pretty amazing. He's basically on his back haunches, with his whole weight on his back haunches, and he's maintaining balance, and then taking his two paws, and he's basically, obviously, like, because he has no digits, so he's putting I assume he's
missing
putting
that all-important jerk-off thumb.
Yeah, he's putting his ween between his paws, and he's basically, like, stroking
giving himself
off.
like an engine burn, kind of. Do you think that's learned behavior? Do you think that's a dog that has seen...
That looked like instinct, right? He was
really?
just, like, so horny, he was like, I gotta
do anything. And this ain't natural, and I need these to stand, but god damn it, I gotta come. And he just reaches down and fucking throttles it.
I think
the only way a dog can.
I think it's also like that, he's shameless, where it's like, I'm sure there's lots of guys where it's like, if you're not gonna fuck it, I'm just gonna pull it out right here and just do it.
Right, when they say men are dogs, like this video fucking is utter proof of that
dog
axiom.
is exactly how we feel. It's just like,
totally.
If you're not gonna top it off,
I will finish it.
Right
if I was fucking my old lady and she pulled away out of disgust or whatever, I would just immediately be like, and just jerk it myself, just like this dog.
Just like that.
Well, I might actually venture a question like, why can't we finish? Why now? Why after 8 years are you suddenly disgusted? But I would.
Or you might finish off and then, depending how close you are.
Yeah, I might. If she,
if you were
like
right on the
strokes
verge,
away,
you're like, all you had to do is kind of.
But if I was, I wouldn't even have to. If I was like a few strokes away, or if I just had to lean over, I'd just lean on the bed, and it would be like, just come itself and whatnot.
All right, so you're like 10 strokes away.
So I'm, a little bit of distance, but within the fucking.
But nothing like
sliding into home, but not quite there. Yeah,
or you could do both at the same time.
Where I lean on a bed and jerk it, and she's like, "What a horrible display." That's why I stopped fucking you.
No, you're actually jerking off and asking her why.
Why did you stop? Oh, I don't care anymore. I've always wanted to go to a cereal factory where they make cereal and see how they make cereal. Like, I want to know how the Cheerios get made. And I've expressed that to my wife because she's like, "Where should we go for vacation?" And I'm like, "I would like I'd like to go to Cheerio Land." And of course, that's not met with an enthusiastic, "Well, fucking pack your bags, honey, because we're going." She's always just like, "Well, that's something you'll do by yourself." Do you think it's like they make it really could backfire. Do you think
this is when the dude pisses in the fucking Cheerio mix?
Well, I wouldn't eat them. I'm not saying like I want you to bring me a box from the.
No, I'm just saying like I'm just saying that there could be some horrible
ingredient like lips and assholes. Yeah. That's what fucking makes Cheerios good.
It's like here's all the parts of the chicken that they won't even put in a hot dog.
I was looking at the contents. I was giving dogs snacks today. On the can it says feeding instructions. Treat as a snack, and I was treating it as like a 4-course meal. So I kept feeding them snacks, and finally I wanted to look at it. They were these little pigs in a blanket sausages, pigs in a blanket. And I'm like, the texture feels like Play-Doh, like somewhat hardened Play-Doh. So I wanted to see what it was made of. Flour was a key ingredient, but there was a lot of like chicken byproduct, which is just beaks and assholes and legs and shit like that. But they loved it. They'll eat it up, man. They don't care, processed or not. And I'm with them. I'm all for it, man. Like, I've eaten the equivalent of dog food many times. I haven't gone the distance. I haven't really taken the ultimate plunge and just been like, that looks fucking good, and eaten it. But
it's simple.
Yeah, I mean, I know what's in it. I like chicken. I would imagine I like the byproduct of a chicken. I've eaten in a McNugget. But I've eaten the human equivalent, shit that's just overly processed. Like you eat a Twinkie. I love a Twinkie, but it took me, I think, 15 to 18 years to figure out what the ingredient was that's called animal shortening. That's whipped pig. That's just like whipped fucking leftover shit that they can't sell to eat, as a grade A meat. And they whip it up, pour a ton of sugar on it, and that's what shortening is. It's fat. It's
like fat. It's lard. It's lard that's sort of like...
Which I never knew what lard was, except when people were like, hey, lard ass. And I was like, yeah. And then I knew what it was. But I didn't know what lard was. If you watch old episodes of the fucking Little Rascals, and every once in a while they try to cook, they put lard on a grill or something like that, or Alfalfa slicks his hair back with it. I never knew what it was.
I've cooked with lard.
You've cooked with it?
Yeah.
That's just cooking with fat.
Yeah, I mean, like if you were, if I was making, sometimes I'll make carnitas, like a slow cooked pork.
Carnitas. Scottacita wants a carnita.
And that's exactly what I say the whole time I'm cooking it.
I'm gonna put that on your fucking tombstone. Your last Scott Mosier in quotes. Scottacita wanted a carnita.
He wanted something else, but he got stuck with this.
There's a guy who wrote a book called Elephants on Acid and Other Bizarre Experiments. They did one called Elephants on Acid. That's the one they list as number one, where 1962, a bunch of Oklahoma City researchers were like, what would happen if you gave an elephant acid? Because we all want to know, I guess. So they got the director of the city zoo to get on board with it, and they fired a cartridge syringe containing 297 milligrams of LSD into Tusco, the elephant, right into his ass, right into the rump. And with Thomas were two scientific colleagues from the University of Oklahoma School of Medicine. 297 milligrams is a lot of LSD, about 3,000 times the level of a typical human dose, is what the article says. In fact, it remains the largest dose of LSD ever given to a living creature. The researchers figured if they were going to give an elephant LSD, they better not give him too little. What do you think happened?
He either freaked out, died, or laid down.
Well, pick one. I mean, you covered all the bases. That's not fun.
I'll say he died.
Treat it like Family Feud. Top 5 answers on the board. Here's the question. Give an elephant 297 milligrams of LSD in a rump through a cartridge syringe. What happens? And then you consult with your family, and they're like, it's you, Carol, John, Kristen, and you're all like in that huddle and shit like that. And then you get the buzzer, boop, 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 and they're like, Scott, what's your answer? And you say,
he died.
He died. Looking for died. And then they would say, ding, because that's what happened. The elephant fucking dropped dead immediately. It said, what is it?
So it wasn't really an experiment. It was like a death sentence. It was like, we're going to fucking kill your elephant in a different way.
It almost immediately went awry. It says, Tusco reacted to the shot as if a bee had stung him. He trumpeted around his pen for a minute and then keeled over on his side.
We had a heart attack?
The researchers tried to revive him, but an hour later he was dead. 3 scientists sheepishly concluded it appears that the elephant is highly sensitive to the effects of LSD. Horrible, isn't that horrible? And so bad, but there was controversy about this experiment. Aside from like the controversy, you would be like,
really?
Well, of course there is. But the controversy was about what killed him. Was it the LSD, or did he?
Was he just in did he
go
into shock?
Or just something like that. So years later, they reiterated the experiment.
They repeated, or
they did. They repeated the experiment. 20 years later, Ron Siegel of UCLA decided to settle the debate by giving 2 elephants a dose similar to what Tusco received. 2 separate elephants reportedly had to sign an agreement. I thought this was fascinating, promising to replace the animals in the event of their deaths. What kind of
like
zoo
cosmically?
Yeah, it's like, how do you fucking make up for that?
I will go to hell or heaven, and I will bring them back.
Elephant, or I will march forward into the fucking unknown realms.
That's fucked up.
They let him do it, man. And instead of injecting the elephants with LSD like they did last time, he mixed the drug into their water. And when it was administered this way, the elephants not only survived but didn't seem too upset at all. They acted sluggish, rocked back and forth, and made some strange vocalizations such as chirping and squeaking, which I thought was kind of cute. They're like, people are like, I've never heard an elephant do that before. It's because he's high. Within a few hours, they went back to normal. So they eventually did the experiment, but still.
So he was
What was the
basically
point of
like,
that
I'm going to
experiment?
risk the lives of 2 elephants in order to prove that elephants should take LSD.
I don't know
can.
what the point of that experiment is. That borders on like fucking, Nazi death camp experiment where they're like, let's just do shit to see what happens. Like, who needs to know the effect of LSD on an elephant? An elephant's never going to do a LSD of his own choice unless like it was mixed in with a bag of peanuts and he was like, hey, what's this?
And if it did happen by accident, it's like, I don't think you need to sort of like prove it just to be like, never give an elephant LSD.
I think it's common sense. You don't do
Yeah.
it, but that's science. Another
That's science.
and that, Scott, is science.